Today I'm playing your submissions to the map making contest. Stick around to the end, because that's when I'll reveal the winner. Who is this guy? Why is he talking to me? I'm Rubeki, Lorn's lore developer. What's that? Lorn's Lore is a critically acclaimed video game. It's about an android going down into a megastructure with 2 climbing picks. If you don't know what any of that means, keep watching. Alright, let's get started. Now, I've already played and recorded these maps, to be honest. But the audio quality and lighting and resolution of the video was very bad. That was my mistake. So I just re-recorded everything. And I'll just be watching a recording of me playing and sharing my thoughts with a nice cup of tea. Hopefully I don't spill it everywhere. Okay. So we'll start with the first one. I believe it's called Endless Space. Abstract Space. Never mind. Off the bat, the only major complaint I had about this map is the air control. It's a little slow, and I think that can just be changed with adjusting the player speed. You'll see a few places where that'll be annoying. Like here, for instance, I feel like you should have been allowed to just hop over that, but because of the air momentum, you kind of have to use the grapple to get speed. See, like that. That was a little... That just doesn't feel good. I feel like this would be more flowy if there was a faster default movement speed. Besides that, one other thing I would recommend is maybe some more set pieces, some custom artwork, rather than just these primitive shapes. But besides that, it was pretty fun. Oh, one other thing I would recommend is trying to change up the challenges a little more. I know that's difficult with a grapple hook, but it would have been interesting to see the level force you to use like the dash as well as the grapple, or maybe the grapple and the tic-tac or something like that. But yeah, pretty good. Also, originally I was gonna add some ratings to these maps, like a rating system, where I rate the fun, the aesthetic, and the creativity. But I kind of chose a clear winner, I feel. So there's a bit less of a reason to do that. So I'll just share my notes like this, and then I'll tell you at the end who the winner is. Oh, by the way, I'm also working on a new game. It's called Meganaut, and it also takes place in the Lorn's Lore universe. Except it's a horror game. Wishlist link is in the description. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one's called Pipeworks. If I chose the correct video. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, it's a backrooms level. Because I swear I saw it in the backrooms games before. Where there should be a monster chasing you, but there isn't in this map. And that's, I guess, my only critique. It's a little boring. Yeah, I would just put like a jump scare or something if you turn around, or if you go the wrong direction at first. It's creative, but yeah. Maybe add a jump scare and chase, or ambient music to change it up a bit. This one had a weird name, so I won't try to say it. But this one is a very fun challenge. It had good calibration of the player controller, and I like the speed in this one. I never felt hindered like the space one. Now this one is a rage map. in that if you die, you'll go right back to the start. And if you look in the distance, it's a pretty long map. I don't remember if I completed. I don't think I do. Let's skip ahead a bit. But yeah, very clever use of the mechanics in terms of combos. And here I like this section where you have to make use of the sliding and momentum. Correctly use it. There are some hard parts. I got even stuck somewhere near the top. Probably this one. I think I got stuck on this. Yeah. So if you skip ahead. Yeah, I was at this for quite a while. Come on. There it is. Expressing some relief and frustration there. Another thing I would... well, I don't think I made a suggestion yet, but one thing I would suggest is to add some textures. Not just cats. Because it's much easier to judge distance when you have textures. And that helps with some of the jumps. Yeah, there's the rage part where I died and went right back to the start. Very good map. I liked it a lot. And let's move on to the next one. This was Into the Maw. Now I know this one had a story. I think the Mapmaker said there was one. It might have been in the description as well, if I'm not mistaken. But I kind of missed that. But there were no characters in this map, and I really, really wish there were, because I wanted to know what was going on. And you'll see there's all these weird structures, and when you get inside, it gets even more interesting. And maybe this is just a me problem, but I don't know what a maw is. I guess that's a simple Google away. Yeah, look at that. Very weird. Now this map does a good job of guiding the player, as in making it intuitive which way you're supposed to go. So that was a big benefit. This part here was huge, and I really like the navigation puzzle. This area is more open-ended, and it kind of makes the climbing picks shine, because you sort of have to navigate your way around these square areas, these square stalactites or stalagmites. And there's sections where I'm planning my route, and it sort of forces you to. Otherwise, you go around in circles. I think there was a bug here where if you die, you end up being slanted for some reason. So I would suggest fixing that. But other than that, it was good checkpoint placement. I would also suggest music. This place has a lot of character. I feel some music could bring that out. And some of these textures also need better scaling. I know it was a very quick contest, though. A month can go by really quickly, especially if you're making a map this large. This was a substantial map. I think it took me 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to to complete. And I was speedrunning this. I like this crawling section here as well. And this part has particularly good sliding. I like how the tic-tac is woven in here. Tic-tacs plus slides. I'm not sure what's going on in this part, but definitely playing these maps, I kind of realized what some of the critique around tic-tacs was about. I guess I was kind of used to my own geometry, but when playing somebody else's, you can see where it's inconsistent. Especially on slanted walls like that one over there. Nice quadruple tic-tac. I really like this section. Where you tic-tac, slide to replenish, and keep going. And this part here where you go around the corner. I know it's a blind jump, but I kind of like these. And you go on the slide, replenish, safely fall, and you're done. Died there right before finishing. This one is called House of 1,000 Lorns. This one feels like some Gmod map or something like that. Some old Half-Life map. I like the vibe in this. Like a Half-Life horror map or something. I like that there's characters, even if they're speaking nonsense. It just adds some life to the map. Also, the instructions on the signs are useful. It looks like I solved that quickly, but it actually took many tries to figure out the solution the first time I did it. I'm probably going to blaze through this map, but it was actually quite challenging the first time I played it. I think it took much longer that first time. I love that there's moving objects, like these pendulums. This is a very clever section as well. I like that one a lot. I saw somebody speedrunning this as well. This is not the intended route, but I gave it a shot anyway. I failed though. This controller is also well calibrated. I love the speed. Jump height, everything is... It feels perfect. Don't change a thing. Nice combo of hazards and platforming. And this section here was pretty cool, where you have to wait for these to pass. Reminds me of Zelda. A lot of puzzles like that in Zelda. Maybe even Mario 64. Very nice variety in puzzles as well. I thought that thing was going to crush me, that wall of spikes, the first time I encountered it. Whoa, going too quick. And this is where it ends. The first time I crossed that threshold, I think I went well past the ending cube, and I found a secret area. I won't reveal what's there, in case you want to play it. But yeah, this one was great. I love that it combined indoor and outdoor. Had a good vibe. Characters, that was nice. This one's called the Grotto. Not having reverb was immediately jarring. This mold growth is spreading into the water. That's what it said. I like that this one was heavy into the story aspect. Living green plants. Is this a biosphere? The water is fresh. Where does it come from? I think at this point I was wondering where that carpet came from though. Again, texture scaling. I didn't notice this terminal the first time I saw it, so that was pleasant. Let me just pause. Oh man, this timestamp. This place is so peaceful. Most of us haven't seen greenery in forever, if we've seen it at all. It's heaven compared to that colony, to the colony. So I was actually curious about the story. It is effective. I would have liked to know where like these people traveled from. What was their history? Scylla is dead. We didn't know. She didn't tell us she was exposed too. We've defiled this place just like everywhere else. We're taking her body back with us. It's the least we can do. Hopefully it'll stop the spread. Very intriguing. This must be where the water comes from. But where does this water come from? Why build this here? It's cozy. Of course. I want to know more. Where's the rest? I know. Short timeline. It's alright. It's a good map. I was very curious. And I'm genuine when I say I do want to know more. Next is Biden's Island. I don't know if I should evaluate this because I believe it's not done yet. But maybe I can offer some critique. Story is simple and kind of funny. Hey sweetie, welcome home. I'm sorry to send you off so quickly, but mom needs her meds. Would you bring them to her? That made me chuckle the first time. Also, the first time I played, I missed that, by the way. And I went all the way to this mountain over here. And you'll see how far that is. Because that's Herko over there. A character in the main game. And he's larger than you. So I had to... I mean, I didn't walk back. I just restarted the map. But that was brutal. One thing I would improve is the distance here. It is just unnecessary. Yeah, I'm just walking. I think I was like checking my phone while doing this. I'll put something here, maybe add some puzzles or just bring that cabin a little closer. I think that would improve this experience significantly. Let's skip ahead. Okay. I'm not finished yet. I think this is the Mapmaker talking. But enjoy the climb up the mountain. So the first time I played this, I had a lot of difficulty. Not gonna lie. I did have to rely heavily on the climbing indicator. This part was strange that you had to jump. I still failed there. I failed many times. And the checkpoints should be a bit more generous than that. The climbable surface volumes are also a little tricky. They don't allow you to go around the edges. And sometimes you just stop, like, partway. So that could use some improvement. I noticed that in a few places. This section up here with the rocks, that was very tricky. You'll see in a moment. So I think I missed that also the first time. This part here is also a little jank. You have to go on this lip, and then the actual climbable part is a little far out. Again, jank here because these are two slidable surfaces. There's nowhere to actually stay still. I had to like very quickly jump to these rocks, which is also not clear if you can go on. This one is climbable, but the others were not. And yeah, I just held on for dear life there and somehow made it. This part was also not clear that it was climbable because it looks like it's part of the mountain. Also, I think the first time I got stuck on that side. And I couldn't go around. So again, some climbing volume intricacies. Here again, lots of walking. Not much to do. I like the skiing part. I would like to see more skiing maps. That was fun. This part was also quite difficult. I felt like you should be able to go around, but because there were these weird trees, I wasn't able to. So I had to kind of like jump around them, which was, it didn't feel good, and led to moments like this, where if you hit the slope instead of a flat surface and try to jump, it'll push you away from that. And because it's really steep, it pushes you really far like that. Which is very frustrating because the spawn is quite far back. So let's skip ahead. Took a few tries. And now this part. So the first time I played this, I just fell right through that log. Presumably it's a log. And I died, and then it sent me really far back. And that actually made me rage quit. It sent me well before this, so it sent me even farther back before this. I don't know why this one didn't register the first time I played. Maybe it fixed something, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's just not done yet, but definitely add a collider to that, because I fell right through. Yeah, I basically couldn't complete the map because of that. I didn't find a way around, so I assumed it was just not in a complete state. But yeah, hopefully that feedback helps you. Next map was Mystery Flesh Pit National Park. A very impressive map. Really creative idea to do this particular project. If you cross that, it will actually end the end the map. I like that it's actually built accurately. You've marked parts that are like closed and stuff. And I was trying to get to Septum Falls and I think the rib cage. But really cool aesthetically. I would have liked to hear some like original music here. I don't know if it's supposed to be creepy in Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, because the images show just tourists chilling, looking at stuff. But I think because you're alone in here, maybe you could have played off of that. Like maybe you're a maintenance worker or something. You could have had some, I don't know, creepy events happen. I'm not too familiar with the lore. I just know it's a flesh pit. Also, I'm going to get to a junction point where it would have been very useful to have another map, because I was disoriented after that. After getting to both of those places that I was intending, I was disoriented. I like how you can break away from the path in some places, and you can find some secrets and like interesting areas. Yeah, here's Septum Falls. I presume those are the Septum. And the falls are actually behind this, not here. Yeah, more interactables would be cool too. Again, I know I'm aware of the timeline, but yeah, really cool. You could use some UV scrolling there to get the water moving. I think I added that script. I don't remember. It would have also been really cool to see like some tourists around, you know, if you're not going for the horror angle. Maybe some random people in the background, like a family on a vacation. The Griswolds. Yeah, this is the rib cage, which looks pretty cool. Almost Lovecraftian. I go a little more and I show an offbeat path, like that one. Yeah. If you go off, you can see some cool stuff. And this is remarkably climbable, this section. So if you do fall all the way to the bottom, you can climb up. I like it a lot. I wish you'd use more Lorn's lore mechanics, but that's cool. I get what you're going for here, and I like to see it evolve more. Alright, next map. It's called TakeFive. I love the aesthetic of this one. I was struggling to figure out what it reminded me of, but then I remembered it's from the Berserk. It's not intended to be, but it's likely inspired by it. There's the meat floor, and then there's the black hole. I'm assuming it was inspired by it. If not, that's alright. It just reminds me of Berserk. Also very fun map. I think this one also suffered from the lack of speed though when in the air. I appreciate the hopping section, it's always fun. But yeah, I would like to see a little more speed. And diversity of challenge, but I know that's difficult when you're using the grappling hook, because it sort of is like an easy mode. And you rely on it a little too much. Although there's a lot of route optimization here, and I like how there's sort of a jumble of platforms. It's not exactly clear where you have to go, so you do have to think a bit in terms of the route. And this one also has an intersection. I sort of skip a good chunk of it by going up here, using the speedrunning trick of spamming the grapple. But yeah, I like how you've carved out the environments here. It's very nice. And then I like the finale where you're just spamming it up all the way to the top. And I'm not sure what any of this is a reference to, that rose. Very cool map, very crisp, clean design. Next one is Derelict Machine. This one starts out really impressively. I love the aesthetic and the atmosphere you've set. Use the sound effects and particles effectively here. I love the scale, like it's beautiful. And the platforming, not just in this section, the platforming is super crisp. Very intuitive, everything is readable. I think maybe with a few exceptions, but they're all forgivable in my opinion. I feel like you should have designed chapter 6 for me, because this is very, very cool stuff. There's some Titanfall walls. Again, very readable. I have played this before, so I speedran it. Nice set pieces. I just love the shapes and the variety of mechanics used. And it all still feels cohesive with the world. The player feel was also really good, so the mechanic was well calibrated. Good speed, good jumping. I like the abilities you chose. Good checkpoints too. They felt very fair. This part blew me away. This looks amazing. It's a custom map. This is nuts. And this is just using the prefabs and textures that are available with the template project. Amazing design. Look at this. You know, this reminds me of Ikana Canyon from Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. I really wish you put some cool music here, though. I'd also really like to know the story. Again, some characters with dialogue would be interesting. Definitely would like to know more. But look at this detail, my God. Really nailed it. This part wasn't too clear in terms of the platforming. But I did manage to find my own way. Which is what the game is about, so that's fine. But I'm pretty sure I wasn't supposed to do that. Because there was a bunch of other platforming around there, but I just couldn't find an entry point. Nice. I think I just noticed this thing. And I wanted to try it. That didn't feel intentional though. I still think I did it wrong. Because I don't think I was supposed to bump my head on that. That just looks fantastic. You must be an artist. Like a professional, I'm willing to bet. This part was really cool. It reminded me of Banjo-Kazooie. I think specifically Clanker's Cavern, if anyone remembers that. Or is old enough to even have such memories. I was sort of clumsily speedrunning this. But very clever puzzles here, and I love how it's so well integrated into the actual, machine. That's not easy to do. It's definitely not easy to make the jumping puzzles sort of meld in with the actual coherent objects that you're trying to portray. Like this, this kind of looks like a car engine. Like the pistons and the drive shaft? I don't know what it's called. I'm a nerd. I know nothing about cars. Whoa. Great use of the default assets, though. None of this is custom. Maybe some of the shapes here. But mostly just the default ones, which is very impressive. It's just the variety of solutions to these puzzles. Just great combos. Alright, that was the Derelict Machine. Next up is RustBowl. This one had custom music. Thank you. Very cool intro there. I like that you use the title effects. Always adds some mystery, some atmosphere. I appreciate the new Game Plus cube because this is a tough map. A huge map. I think default draw distance is 20,000 units. For Lorn's lore, and if you get to certain parts of the map, it starts to call out some of the level in the distance, so you went past that. So to fully accommodate this map, I have to change that default. But some of these sections are really vertigo inducing, and I haven't even explored all of it. It goes like way higher in some parts. Fairly readable platforming. I'd say not as much as the Derelict Machine, but I don't think I struggled too much with it. There are some sections that I did, but I got it eventually. I love that there's also very many ways to go up. I'm pretty sure I did some unexpected moves the first time I played this, and maybe even this time. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is the correct way to go. But it worked out. These are confusing. I thought you had to jump from one to the other. But they're sort of just signaling the way you have to go. If that is the intention, like you're just supposed to tic-tac on them, I do suggest not making them climbable. And maybe some metallic material to help with readability. But if that is intentional, that you climb them, then I guess leave it. But it looks like, from this example, that they are intended to be a tic-tac path. Let me know. I think some of the textures used are not making the path clear. Like this is very dark. And this part, I know you're supposed to probably use those slides on this angled wall here, but I ended up just cheesing it on the side there. I was trying to look for another way, because this part is a little jank as well, climbing up these satellites. This tower is a good example of how challenging it is to create the puzzles in a way that is coherent to what you're trying to show here. I don't know what this machine is, but it's still hard, I know from experience, to come up with something like that. Yeah, none of this was working. Until that. Now this map is huge, FYI. I think this one is a 30-minute map, if I'm not mistaken. I love all the stuff you can see in the distance. But again, it's a very challenging map. I'd probably look for this stuff only when doing New Game Plus. This part was really cool. So high up. It just felt more high up as well, even than the tower. I think because it forces you to look down. Whereas the tower, you're looking up. And this part was fun, where you just sort of slide down. Again, very vertigo-inducing, very much forces you to look down. I ended up just sliding all the way down. Very cool view even from the bottom. A lot of curious structures that I never got to. Very fitting music. There's the clipping going on. Now, it was also unclear where to actually go. I only figured it out after looking at a review. In the Steam Workshop, I found out you have to go to the middle. This part was fairly interesting. Just looking for paths up. Trying to manage stamina. Another problem is trying to balance the scale versus the density of puzzles, I guess, climbing puzzles. Because you want to give the impression of scale, you sometimes make large sections like this, like big blocks. And unfortunately that ends up causing things like this, where you're just climbing for a very long time or walking for a very long time. and it's not necessarily the best experience for the player. But you also want to maintain the atmospheric effect, like the feeling that this thing is huge. I also struggled with this during the development, but I think it's fairly well balanced in this map. Eventually you get to the middle here. You know what? I won't reveal the ending. And that was the last map. There was another one here, which was a job simulator type map, but that wasn't submitted in time for the contest, so I won't include it as a candidate. But it was a very cool map. Heavy use of the interaction abilities offered in the map making tools. All right, now let's pick the winner. So I already said that I've played all of these and chosen the winner because it was obvious to me. I don't know if it was to you looking at the footage, but for me, the winner definitely is the Derelict Machine. It was the most impressive visually. It was cohesive visually, as in the style was consistent throughout, and everything just fit together very nicely. It had a smooth difficulty curve from start to finish. Excellent diversity of the challenges. I really liked some of the combos that you had to pull off. Although it didn't add any abilities throughout, it still kept it interesting. It was not too long, not too short, and it had a great calibration of the first-person controller. It felt really nice. It wasn't slow like some of the others, and it just was such a neat package. Even the thumbnail is great. So yeah, congratulations, Rat in the Walls, who is the map maker. You'll be receiving the prize, which I'll reveal a little later. Runners-up into the Maw. I really like that one. RustBowl, also very visually impressive. And Fortress of 1,000 Lures. I like that one a lot. I like the feel. It reminds me of something. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe the Shadow Temple in Zelda Ocarina of Time. I'm mostly biased towards these story-like maps. It's just my affinity, but I would consider the parkour maps maybe their own class. So I would say the best parkour map was, I don't know how I'm going to pronounce this, but Pymxolbo's Torment. I think that was correct. And that one was by Pymxolbo. So congrats, there's only one prize, but you're a winner in my books. Now, I was going to reveal the prize here physically, but they're not done yet. So we're going to have to wait a bit longer. However, I can just tell you what it is. It's 3D print of the Android. It's 5 inches in height, full color, very high quality. We're using one of those PolyJet printers that I've never heard of. But it's cool. And congratulations to Rat in the Walls. You're gonna get the prize as soon as I find out where you live, so I can deliver it. Buy Lorn's Lore, play these maps on the Steam Workshop, and don't forget to wish this Meganaut. You better not forget.